Welcome to my madness, ladies and gentlemen. Today I want to take a quick look at this Catwoman figure and kind of tell you guys what I did to it to, in my opinion, make it a better figure. Obviously, this is the Mcfarlane DC Multiverse Arkham Wave Catwoman, and it had issues, as a lot of people in the action figure collecting community have pointed out. But the two main ones, which were the reasons why I didn't originally buy this figure, and many people also pointed out, was that it didn't look proportional and the diaper piece on this figure just looked ridiculous. It was just way too big and just looked way too much like a diaper. Now, of course, McFarlane's had issues with some of their figures before, and the diaper pieces looking kind of ridiculous. It was just very exaggerated on this figure, especially given how slim the torso and everything is. And it really did look like a diaper. It just looked like a black diaper on her, and it just didn't look good. And as time went on, I kind of realized I really do need a good 7-inch scale Catwoman in my collection, and the other options out there available are like from DC Direct and, you know, DC Collectibles, and those are pretty expensive because they're not made anymore. So finding those figures, you know, you're going to spend $50 and up to get those. I didn't want to spend that much money to get a good 7-inch scale Catwoman in my collection. So I started thinking about it, and I think I came up with a couple of good ideas on how to make this figure look better. And hopefully, just from looking at it, you can tell it definitely looks much more proportional, and the diaper does not look as ridiculous, okay? So hopefully I've kind of solved these two problems. So let's talk about what I did with the diaper first. Now, as you can see, the diaper piece does look a lot better, right? It's not sticking out. It doesn't look as much like a diaper. You can see that, you know, she still has her assets, okay? So it looks a lot better, and what I did, and I will say this, let me stipulate, if you decide to do this, you do this at your own risk because you could ruin the figure. But what I did was essentially shave the sides of the diaper piece down. And I don't mean shave from top to bottom, I mean from outside in. So I shaved the plastic down to where it was much thinner, to where it did not stick out as much. I also removed those top two buckle pieces that were molded into the diaper that were up at the top that made it stick out even more. I shaved those off as well. And I basically shaved from about right here all the way around to about right here. I just shaved all that down to where it was much thinner there. Then when I was done with that, it still stuck out just a little bit. I actually did something that, again, I don't recommend because you could ruin your figure, but I took a lighter and I melted the diaper piece, at least a little bit. I would kind of go over it a little bit with the lighter and then take it off and let it cool, and go over it a little more and then take it off and let it cool until that diaper piece actually shrunk up. And fortunately for me, it worked. I was very careful doing this because I knew full well I could ruin the figure. And I didn't want to do that, but fortunately it actually worked, and you can see that the diaper piece looks much better. Still not perfect, but it does look much better. Now, the other big issue with this figure, of course, is it just didn't look proportional. And after looking at the figure, I came to the consensus that the reason it didn't look proportional was because the legs were just too long. I mean, just plain and simple, they were too long, and she looked kind of ridiculous, especially because she has a very slim, small upper torso with huge long legs, and it just didn't look right. So I started thinking about ways to fix that, and the solution that I came up with was to pick up this figure right here. Of course, this is the movie version from the Batman of Catwoman, and you'll notice she's a lot taller now than she used to be, and that's because I swapped the legs on these two. I put the extremely long legs on the movie version, which I don't really care about because I bought this for, I think, $9.78 on Amazon because nobody cared about this figure. And I put the shorter legs from that movie figure on this Catwoman figure, and it really did help make this figure much more proportional. And as you can see, I mean, it looks pretty good. Again, not perfect, okay? But this is a pretty decent solution to this figure looking ridiculous, okay? Because honestly, it kind of looked ridiculous. It had a very, very small upper torso, a huge diaper, very, very ample assets there at the rear, and ridiculously long legs. And now that the legs are shorter and the diaper piece looks less like a diaper, I think it looks like a much, much better figure. And again, swap the legs, do a little trimming and a little bit of melting on the diaper, and that's what it took for me to get this figure looking at least a little bit better and something that I'd be willing to actually put in my Batman display with the rest of my figures. So that's it, guys. I would love to know what you think, not just about this figure, but what do you think about these modifications? Does it look better? Because I certainly think it does, but I'd love to hear from you guys out there. So as always, guys, thank you for watching, and always remember to enjoy your collection.